Welcome back. My name is Simon Brown. In this Finweek video, we're going to be looking at costs. Not the cost of the share, that we would deal with in a separate video. We're looking at cost of transaction. There is a fee associated with buying, selling, and holding shares. Now, we have to pay fees, but we want them as low as possible. Those fees are essentially being compounded out of our future. So whilst we accept that we need to pay them, we need to make sure we understand what they are, how much they are, and to perhaps negotiate or shop around until we get a fee that meets our requirements. Let's first look at those regulatory fees and taxes. Top of the list, security transfer tax. This goes to National Treasury and it's 0.25% of the total value of the transaction. So a 10,000 Rand transaction, you're going to pay 25 Rand. Importantly, you only pay it when you're buying, you don't pay it when you sell the shares. We've also got investor protection levy. This is typically a couple of cents, and this goes in order to monitor and regulate the JSE and transactions on the JSE. The last of the regulatory taxes is Strate. No longer do we have paper certificates, it's all done electronically, and what this means is that Strate then charges a fee for this electronic transfer of shares as you buy and sell, but also for holding those shares in your name. Here we pay R10.92 on the buy and on the sell side of transaction. Strate does also attract VAT. The last fee is going to be your brokerage. And here you can shop around to find the best brokerage that suits your pocket. Typically what you will find is that brokers charge a percentage of the value of the transaction with a minimum. So for example, a broker charges maybe 0.5%, half a percent. So on your 10,000 Rand transaction, that would be 50 Rand in brokerage. And this brokerage also attracts VAT. But here's a word of caution. Most brokers also have a minimum brokerage amount. So when looking at that 10,000 Rand transaction, they might say it's half a percent or 70 Rand, whichever is greater. So you wouldn't pay the 50 Rand, which is half a percent, you would pay 70 Rand in brokerage. It's not too bad in a 10,000 Rand transaction, but imagine if you were doing only a 1,000 Rand transaction. Instead of paying 5 Rand brokerage plus your VAT, suddenly you would pay 70 plus your VAT. So you need to shop around for those stockbrokers and see not only what is their rate, but what is their minimum, and what sort of transaction size do you expect to be doing over the course of your investing. We've got to pay those costs, but we need to get them ideally to at least 1, maybe 1.5% per transaction. Otherwise, we're simply paying too much in fees, and that'll hinder our future performance going forward. A last fee that broker is going to be charging you is an administration fee. Most of them will charge you a quarterly, maybe a monthly or an annual fee, which is really for holding your shares and offering you the various services. Again, make sure that this fee is not onerous in terms of your overall portfolio, and shop around until you find one where in your mind the fee is worth the value-added services that you get. A last critical point. There is no minimum transaction size in the JSE. You can trade as small or as big as you want. But because of the fees and because of the fixed nature of some of the fees, too small a transaction in many cases simply may not be economical. There is no benefit to paying 10, 20, even 50% of your transaction away in fees. We have to pay them, but we've got to make sure that they don't cripple our return and that they fit within what we're trying to achieve as an investor. My name is Simon Brown. You've been watching a series of Finweek videos on getting started on the JSE.